Hey, nerds. We understand you. Drop those controllers. Lose the wizard hat. And ready your Cheetos. It's time for some hard-hitting talk about the movies, books, and games you love. So get ready, oh searcher of useless knowledge. It's time to step into the Geek Cave. Now, broadcasting from a top secret and totally awesome hidden base, I'm Ken Harris, and here's Darrin Wright, Justin White, and Chad Savage.
More in-depth than the comic you find in the Bazooka Joe Geek Cave Podcast Comics. I'm Darrin.
I'm Justin.
And I'm Chad.
On the 12th day of comics, my Geek Cave gave to me 12 Marvel reboots, 11 DC reboots, 10 Nightwings flipping, 11 Lantern cores, 8 Hulks a-smashing, 7 Namor swimming, 6 Logan snickting, 5 different Robins, 4 Supermen, 3 Excelsiors, 2 Wonder Twins, and a mint condition Amazing Spider-Man 129 featuring the first appearance of the Punisher, which was also somehow a plot point of the 2000 film Coyote Ugly, starring Piper Perabo and John Goodman. Welcome to comics.
You know, the fact that we had the number 11 twice was actually a reference to how sometimes comics just misnumber for no reason.
Something that doesn't repeat unless you want it to, Gamefly. With membership options for every budget, plus gifts for gamers of all ages, Gamefly has thousands of titles that you can keep as long as you want. And when you're done, just send it back in the postage-paid envelope for a new one, or keep it forever and pay a lot less than in-store prices. Sign up for your free 30-day trial right now using the link at geekcavepodcast.com. And yes, you can rent the same game twice.
I have.
Uh-huh.
He's on his third go-through of Mass Effect trilogy. He owns them.
Yeah.
But he still rents them because he likes them so much.
It feels so good. You get that rush of like someone else has touched this game.
Uh-huh. Speaking of things that someone else has touched, Darrin, do you have anything?
What is this, body paint?
Be gentle.
Be gentle.
Be gentle.
Be gentle.
It's Darrin's first time.
I told you be gentle.
Nope, never mind. Anyway, welcome to Darrin's First Time, where I pick up a comic or a comic series that I haven't read before, and I figure out, is this the beginning of a beautiful relationship, or do I need to fill out a restraining order? Today, we're looking at a character whose standalone, all-ages graphic novel was so successful it not only got a reprint as a limited series, it also got a sequel. And spoiler alert, I'm here for it. So for this month, I read Primer. First released in 2020, it's about a teenage girl named Ashley Rayburn. She has bounced from foster home to foster home, typically proving to be too, let's say, spirited for the families that she ends up with. She's artistic, repeatedly gets caught sneaking out of her group home to do graffiti art, is very opinionated, and she's quite good at the art, by the way. But before long, she's placed with a new family. This is a couple that can't have biological kids, made up of a high-strung scientist who seems to be hiding something. Hi, Mom. And the hippie-esque substitute teacher who's also an artist. Hi, Dad. She quickly bonds with her new dad, but Ashley overhears her new mom whispering to herself about making a terrible mistake, presumes that she is that mistake, and sneaks out to do more art, only to be caught by her new dad, who shows her a private art studio he set up nearby so she can paint whenever she wants. At school, Ashley is quick to befriend a boy named Luke who's getting bullied for making wigs so he can teach himself how to be a hairdresser. This is how she handles the bully. She introduces herself because she's new to the school, takes the bully's football, throws it, and hits the principal in the back. When the principal spins around and the bully points at her, she's like, "That would be an incredibly stupid thing to do. It's my first day at school. It must have been him."
Yes.
Yeah. She and Luke start hanging out, and it's not too long before Ashley sneaks into her new parents' bedroom to figure out why her new mom is being so shady. So it turns out the mom has been working on a series of war paints for the military. War paint as in, like, you paint yourself, but it actually soups you up a little bit. Like you smear a certain color on your body, you get a superpower associated with whatever that color is.
Yeah, that'd be a mistake.
Yeah, well, that would be a mistake. And apparently the mom had a crisis of conscience and realized this is a bad idea. We should not be doing this. So she stages a fire drill at the lab and then uses the cover to swap the paints out with normal tubes of paint. And she keeps the real ones locked.
No.
Yeah, she keeps the real ones locked in her room, which Ashley promptly finds because she wants to see why her new mom is acting so shady and hiding things in her room. She presumes it's normal body paint, puts one on, and starts to fly. And now we've reached the hook of our story. See, after some test runs, she's decided she's going to use the paint as a way to become a superhero because what teenager would not make that leap in logic?
Sure.
And sure enough, before long, she ends up foiling a gang dressed like medieval warriors who call themselves the Night Knights. Because they're knights that work at night.
You know, that's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
That's a good hook.
It is a good
Like,
hook.
that's a D&D villain group there.
Yeah. And it is totally not something I would have said to my son when he was 2.
She also ends up figuring out the best combination of paints to safely catch a falling plane, telling an airport worker on the ground, don't worry, one day you'll be as strong as a girl, too. It's a good line. Y'all, this was a fun read. This was a fun read. The humor is great. It's lighthearted. Ashley as a character, plus with her colorful style, reminds me more than a little of Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. So much so that I hear Ashley Ball's voice whenever I read this girl's lines. There is already a sequel that pairs her with the Teen Titans, and this takes place firmly in the DC universe, but on the same Earth, seemingly as the 2003 animated Teen Titans series.
Nice.
So those are the Titans that she interacts with. I will be tracking this one down, too. I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil it, other than to say, you should read it. This series is getting a second date.
Does she, at any point, does she smear all the colors on her at once and
While
go to punch a bad guy and say, taste the rainbow?
While testing out the powers, she learns that the limit is 3. Because she tries to do more than 3 and has this big feedback and just kind of like has a little bit of an energy explosion. And her friend tries to use the paint and jumps off of like her mom's bed and promptly face plants. So it seems the paint doesn't work for everybody. But, you know, it's a great use of color throughout the book for obvious reasons, you know, with the artistry and the paint and all that stuff. And the humor is great. This is an all-ages book, like I said. Anyone can pick this up and have some fun with it. It's not aimed at a 40-something like me, but I had a good time reading it, and I know that my teenage niece would have a great time reading it as well.
Okay.
Nice.
Good
So,
to
yeah.
know.
For the last Darrin's first time of the year, it's a good one.
Yay!
And I'm just thrilled that it was. See, there's a movie called Primer that is not fun in the least. And I thought it was a comic based on the time travel, you know, science of a bunch of physicists. I'm like, oh, God.
Nope, spunky teenage girl with color powers.
You know what? That's awesome.
Yes, I'm there for that.
Read it.
Oh, well, thank you, Darrin. Much appreciated.
Yep.
Chad,
Yes, sir.
do you have anything? He asked him knowingly.
Well, we're finishing up the year, my Aquaman stuff.
Yeah.
And, well, I've got a stupid question.
Oh, there are no stupid questions.
And now it's time for Chad Savage's Stupid Question.
You know, one day he's going to learn to stop saying that.
He might. So there have been a lot of crossovers in a lot of comics. You've talked about quite a few of them.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes these crossovers are a little bit out there. You know, Archie crossed over with Predator and Alien, you know, so on and so on.
Uh-huh.
So I guess the question is, how would Aquaman greet Captain Hook like a gentleman?
So
There's so many jokes.
Handy-capable people, secret handshakes.
Are we talking
I'm not really at liberty to say, so as somebody who's not part of that community, I feel I am not the best one to discuss. So I'm going to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Are we talking hook-handed Aquaman? Or are we talking water-handed Aquaman? Or are we talking flesh-handed Aquaman?
I mean, really, it's...
You summon an alligator to do it.
Oh, man, that would...
Outrageous.
Now, alligators are also land critters. Did we ever get that question answered about...
And it's a crocodile, you plebeian.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Like, did we ever come down on whether or not, Aquaman can command, like, hippos that are, they don't live necessarily,
I would imagine that the hippo would probably have some kind of, like, water parasite, like some kind of amoeba inside the water, and that gets in its brain, and then he steers it.
No. So, in my head
Ratatouille rules.
Ratatouille rules.
No, in my head canon, when it comes to, like, hippos, he can communicate with them, but they don't have to do what he says. They're like,
So they're the cats.
Yes. Yes. He can talk to them until he's blue in the face. And maybe, on a good day, they'll be like, yeah, all right. Thank you, Chad.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I look forward to a great 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wonder what next year will bring.
Well, I need some recommendations for things to read.
I'll get right on that. Wink emoji.
You can take a look at my shelf.
A whole year of Green Lantern.
There's Green Lantern. You can ask a full year of Wolverine. There's a full year of... I got some stuff.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
I've not read much Wolverine. I've only read really Origin and Old Man Logan. I've not read anything in the middle.
Just give you the Mutant Massacre and have Justin have to deal with that.
So anyway, Kens...
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare yourself for Justin's Long Box. Yeah, baby. Extra long.
Welcome to the Long Box. Holiday edition.
Oh, no.
So, I always try to do something special around the holidays, and I found a gem. So this month, I'm specifically looking at the one-shot Great Lakes Avengers GLX-Mas special. So for those of you who don't know, the Great Lakes Avengers are kind of the knockoff Avengers. Still have superheroes, but like C tier, with the notable exception of Squirrel Girl. She is always A tier, or S tier, actually.
They're Marvel's Justice League Detroit.
Yes. And Detroit's in the Great Lakes area, so yes.
I have another stupid question.
You have to wait until January.
Okay.
I'll tell you off air.
So, it starts off with Squirrel Girl introducing the comic, saying, hey, y'all, blah, 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 blah. When Doorman, yes, that's his name, Doorman, kind of faces through the wall and says, hey, sorry to interrupt, but we're out of eggnog and toilet paper. To which she and her squirrel Tippy Toe go, yeah, we'll get some, to the Squirrel-a-Gig.
Oh, boy.
And they're off. At which point they see Dum Dum Dugan and his crew fighting MODOK. Well, Squirrel Girl is unbeatable. So she steps in to help. She throws Tippy Toe at MODOK. The squirrel lands directly on his face, and because of his, quote, tiny arms and big head, he can't get the squirrel off. Wires start being bitten. She climbs inside. The squirrel does. And we're treated to such wonderful things as no internal power shutting down, battle chair offline, life support failing, colostomy bag leaking up into battery backup.
Lovely.
Yes. Squirrel Girl goes and completes her mission Well, sort of. She gets the eggnog, but forgot the toilet paper. And as we see her going back out again, she encounters Thanos. That's the end of part 1. This is a it's got tiny little stories all throughout.
Well, and she's beaten Thanos, so this is not a
Oh,
problem.
yeah. She's unbeatable.
That's right. It's in the name.
It's in the name. So in the next story, called Days of Xmas Past, we see a lamenting immortal man. He is sad that he's reminiscing about his latest love. What was her name?
Didn't matter to him.
No, it's one of those where it's like, I gotta look at it again to remember, because it's one of those, oh no, you gotta be kidding me.
Multiple pages.
Multiple pages, yes.
Fun fact.
Oh yeah, Dinosaur. She's a woman who can fly and is all purple and whatever. Dinosaur.
Oh, Dinah, S-O-A-R, soar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, it's Christmas and he's reminiscing when all of a sudden, Dr. Tannenbaum shows up to wreak havoc once again.
Oh, Tannenbaum.
Yes. This time he has put Christmas trees to the task of destroying the city.
As he's wont to do.
Yes. And as Mr. Immortal gets choked by a wreath, we see a flashback of him mourning the loss of another loved one and him getting to know Dinosaur better and them falling in love and kind of having, a life until he suddenly wakes up and we know she's not around anymore. Turns out the Christmas trees can be stopped by decorating them because then they can't move.
Okay.
We see a little throwaway shot of Squirrel Girl having defeated Thanos. That's why she wasn't helping out with that adventure.
Sure.
And we see a lamenting, not so much a lamenting, but a still grieving but optimistic immortal man at Dinosaur's grave. Next is a small little story of Grasshopper, where he is defending Roxxon Labs. And it's literally 2 pages. He'll come back later, but he ends up by using maximum liftoff to jump away from the scene. Next is the short for Doorman, where it's been a while since he got his powers and decides to go visit his dad. The outside of the house is completely decorated because he's got to show up the neighbors, but the inside is very sparse. He and his dad don't get along very well. They haven't for a while, and he's not too hip on his son's superheroing around. Well, it's at this point that we find out that Doorman is really like a Grim Reaper. And he says, as he starts to change, well, I guess duty calls since I'm an angel of death. And a portal opens up, and he's in space where we see the corpse of Grasshopper. Apparently maximum liftoff means shooting himself into space. And so he ushers Grasshopper's soul into the next world, encounters Santa, and then goes back home, only to reveal to his father that, yeah, you died a few hours ago. I'm here to usher your soul onto the next world. Yeah, that one's not a happy ending. But then we get to the final 2 pages where everybody converges back at Great Lakes Avengers headquarters on Christmas morning to exchange gifts, and it's very lovely. And then they all see the shooting Christmas star, and Doorman thinks to himself, I probably shouldn't tell them that that's Grasshopper's corpse burning up in the atmosphere. That'll just put a damper on the mood. Merry Christmas, y'all.
There's a lot of things that can be said about the Great Lakes Avengers.
There are. So there's everything you never wanted to know about the Great Lakes Avengers GLX-Mas special.
Wow.
Oh, For as long as they're still with us, I want to thank our sponsor, Gamefly. Be sure to check out our other shows. You Want Me to Watch What? The Week 3 podcast, the Sporadic TLDR, and on YouTube, Geek Cave Plays and Retromantics. Also on Twitch, we do occasional live Geek Cave Plays. Look us up on social media, including Discord. Links to everything can be found at geekcavepodcast.com. Say hi when you get there. And at Discord, you get to talk directly to us and other Geek Cave fans. Be sure to tell your friends about us. We're on all your favorite podcast servers. And now it's time for your Out of Context comic panel. This one comes straight from the Wayne Family Adventures. We see the Penguin getting arrested by Red Hood, Signal, and Orphan, his goons, knocked out around him, and the Penguin says, "But you never come through the front door! That's not fair!" For Kent, Darrin, and Chad, I'm Justin, and this has been the wonderful world of comics. And remember, everyone's a geek for something.